So let's go ahead and take a look at host profiles. So host profiles are sort of like GPOs, I think, for Windows. Basically, you can go ahead and take a configuration from an existing host, capture that configuration into one of these host profiles, and then you can push the configurations of that profile and compare the configuration of that profile with other hosts that are in your environment. I'm going to go ahead and just walk through a simple configuration of a host profile and actually push it to another host within the environment that I have here. So I'm going to go ahead and create a host profile. You can also import a host profile that you may have saved and exported from another configuration. We're going to walk through the wizard here, and basically we're going to choose one of the hosts from the environment that we're going to use as the template for the host profile, and we'll give it a name. Any name can do. Make sure it's descriptive. You add a description of where you got it from, etc. We'll click next, and we'll do finish here. So this will go out and scan the host that we chose to be the reference for the host profile, and it's going to build that host profile here. Okay, so now we can see that the host profile has completed, and if we click on it here, we can go to the summary here, and we can see what version of the host profile is, and when it was created and last modified, and then also the host that it was referenced from. We can see in the summary here that the different configurations. And if we wanted to edit the profile, we can click on the edit and change a lot of different configurations for this policy, which we can see here. I'm not going to go into any depth on this here. Just go ahead and click through some of the settings that you can configure if you want it on the storage or networking, etc. Go ahead and cancel out of there, and also, as I said before, we can export the profile if we wanted to by clicking export profile and then saving that to a particular directory of your choice. What we want to do with this profile, of course, is attach it to a host or a cluster so that we can check the comparison of the other hosts within a cluster or another single host against this host profile to make sure that they have settings that are the same and they're, as the VMware puts it here, they're compliant to this host profile. So I'm going to go ahead and click the attach here and choose the cluster at the top level. That way, any hosts that are added into this cluster, we can check the compliancy against that host profile. So we'll go ahead and attach it, and we'll click OK. Now, once it's attached, we can go into the host and clusters here for the host profile, and we can see that the cluster is there, and the two hosts in the cluster is also shows up here. We can also see that the host profile compliance column here for each of these objects is unknown, and that's because we have not checked the compliance yet. So I'm going to check the compliancy on the cluster itself. That way it'll go ahead and check the compliancy on all the hosts that are in the cluster. And we can click on the cluster here and just go to the top and say check compliance. So a task was kicked off, and the host profile was compared against all the hosts that are in this cluster. And looking here, we can see that the host that references the host profile is showing compliant, while the other host in the cluster is showing non-compliant. And because this one host is non-compliant, that makes the cluster at the top level non-compliant as well. So if we wanted to go ahead and enforce this or apply the profile to this host, as we see here, if I click apply, it tells us that the host needs to be in maintenance mode. Also, if we right click on the host in here, we can apply the profile or check compliancy. We can also check the answer file. So these answer files here, if we click on update answer file, so the answer file came up for this host profile here, and we can check some of the elements of the answer file, and if we wanted to edit anything in here, we can click the edit or go to the actual attribute and edit the values in the answer file here. So if the host profile needs to configure these values, you can set them up in here, and when you go ahead and apply the profile, these settings would automatically be applied to that host instead of it waiting for you to answer it and configure those during the time that you apply the host profile. We're going to go ahead and cancel out of here, and just to show you can import an answer file, and you can also export an answer file. So also, if we select the host, we can see in the bottom pane here the compliance failures, the different areas that have failed for compliancy for this host. These are the areas that will be changed and modified if we wanted to apply this profile. So I'm going to go ahead and put this system in maintenance mode. So now the host is in maintenance mode and no VMs are on it. Go back to the host profile, and actually we could have gone to in here in host and to a host profile and apply host profile from the host view as well. Okay, so all the changes have been made. We can see updated DNS, some of the firewall settings, some of the vSwitch settings here, and we can click finish. And let's go into the host profiles area again, and let's check the profile compliance now. So after checking the compliance, we can see there are a few things here that still did not come up as compliant. These are, if you take a look here, related to the storage. And if we go into the host here, we can check the initial one. the storage adapter, and we have a fiber channel disk here, and this is the one that's referencing in the host profile area there. And if we go to the other host, we can see that this one is not zoned properly to see the fiber channel storage. So in order to fix that host profile, now that we can see that one host has access to a fiber channel line and the other one doesn't, you can go ahead into your storage array and your fiber switches and give access to this one ESX host to the same LUN that the other ESX has, and then just rerun the compliancy once that same LUN is attached to both hosts, and your cluster should be compliant.